So, continuing on with the relevant background information, each tab offers its own piece of information, which all has their own subtabs. So, basically, this slide and the next slide, they go over it. They talk about, I talk about the different tabs that you can see. So, we'll look at that on the page. Um, there's a parents page. You click the parents. Then on the side are all of these sub tabs that you can look at. Go into characteristics of a gifted child, talk says from sensitivities to perfectionism, from the underachiever to the imposter, all different characteristics that are found in gifted kids. There's just so many things. Even has that page about the concerns with social and emotional, which we'll talk about a little bit more in the PowerPoint. But it's important, the stress and giftedness, the depression and suicide, sensitivities, things like that, that all kids face, and it is important to know that gifted children, like it says, um, although it's a popular notion that gifted children are at risk for higher rates of depression and suicide than their average, no empirical data supports that belief, except for the students who are creatively gifted in the visual arts and writings. Nor, however, is there good evidence that rates of depression and suicide are significantly lower among populations of gifted children. So, students deal with this. Like, there's on here, it talks about with a blog post for anxiety, and then other things for what kids deal with that are gifted, and other children deal with this stuff too. So it's not just straight gifted, but there's just so many different things that seem taboo that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and this site has that stuff for parents, for students. Sorry, I got way off with my parents tab going to look at the different subtabs. But like I said, there's a lot of subtabs. So when you look at the parents, like I said, there's characteristics, how to identify your child as gifted, things like that. It talks about, in the up tab I found out goes back to the page. There's about testing, about highly gifted. There's the schooling, traditional schooling, like even testing. There's IQ testing, on testing, present levels, all the different scorings, proficiency testings, all different things that goes into giftedness. It's not just a one and done thing, because giftedness isn't just a one and done. You have to be a certain IQ level, because giftedness can be a range of different things. And it talks about that on this website. Like I said, there's that social and emotional. It talks about gifted support, different resources, facts. And this is what I like too about the success stories. It talks about the stories that people have had. There's kid successes. So a whole lot of different things. There is also the educators tab when you go to the next one. Talks about different things about gifted education, gifted programs, curriculum resources. So all these things that are super helpful for educators in general when it comes to giftedness, because not very few educators know really about giftedness, and that's not a good thing, because it's a disservice to us as educators and our students. But it talks about differentiation instructions. There's even books, there's articles, there's different links to all this, so that research that shows things like that, because we all have to have numbers, and the research has to be there before we do anything. There's just so many different things. Look, even brain research, professional development, because teachers are constantly learning. They need this professional development on gifted education. There's the Kids Fun tab that I was talking about, where the kids have these different links, that this is its own different page now too. There's, which you can look at the cool little avatars here, or you can click on the sides again. But it talks about digital citizenship, because it's important that kids learn about digital citizenships, whether they're gifted or not, because we're a technology society now. There's different contests and awards, movies, different magazines, toys, and softwares and apps and reading lists and different links to go to. So many different things. I really like this one too, because you go to the nerd shirts and it takes you to their Shop Hoagies page, like I was telling you about earlier, that they're That's how they make the money for their site, is through the Shop Hokies page. So I kind of cheated and went there a different way, because like I've noticed every like sub tab leads into a tab that's what they all connect, but like they're really cute. Like I don't know, they're just really cute is all I can say. Like a cute girl, because it's a girl symbol and then a cute triangle. I mean, things like that, like I find funny, like Pi Day and things like that that kids love. Like they say nerd shirts, but they're not just. I guess you don't have to be a nerd, but I love this stuff. Um, so the kid stuff is really good for the kids. Like I said, there's these different lists. There's like hot topic reading lists and more reading lists. So many different things that they can explore. There's the What's New tab that you come to and just talks about the different things, and here's what's hot, what's not new, and then all these different things. Table of contents. Gifted 101 goes into the guide for the first time visitors, talking about what giftedness is, why you're even on the page basically. And then you go into Gifted 102, because once you as it says, you've been through gifted identification and testing, and it's been determined your child is gifted. So now you've gone through all this stuff. So, it's talking more, we know they're gifted, but how gifted? There's different levels of giftedness. Talks about the education that kids need and the advocacy. That is the biggest thing right there. That to me is so huge, because as a parent of a child that I think is gifted, as a mother who is also a educator, and I'm advocating for my son to make sure that he is not getting passed by because of the school he's at. I don't want him just to be looked over because they're so focused on those kids that are so far behind. I want him to be looked at, that he needs to be paid attention to, because he is more academically with it, I guess, as you can say. He's got that with itness, and he is creative. But it goes into social emotional again, because that's so important with all children. And then, here's our frequently asked questions, twice exceptional children, special topics, a whole lot of different things. Then it goes into the community page, where you go in, if it's going to go, sorry, the community page with different supports. There's a mailing list, Facebook groups, communities for the gifted youth, podcasts, blogs, all different things. So you have places to go. So you don't feel like you're alone, because that's another thing, whether you're a gifted child, a gifted adult, an adult with a gifted child, an educator, whomever. It's always important to have support. You don't want to go into this alone. And, Mrs. Hoagie went into it alone, over 20 years ago, but now she doesn't have to worry about that, because she has made this page so that people don't feel alone. There's a conferences tab, different conferences and gifted conferences, events, gatherings around going on, which is pretty cool. There's the Shop Hoagies tab, which I already showed you a part of it. But look at all these different things. Like all these things on here are ways that they get money to them. Like Melissa and Doug, the world's biggest Lego shop, Highlights, Proof Rock Press. Scholastic Store. If you buy things from their affiliated programs, they will donate money towards the Hoagies Gift to Education page. This is pretty interesting. It's a PC security tab. Didn't really mention that very much in my written presentation, but I'm going to just go ahead and speak about it. Here is where you can donate through PayPal, but it's got a public service announcement about making sure you've backed up your PC hard drive. That's really important, because a lot of people don't know to do that. So I just thought it was pretty cool that that's on there. And then here's the About tab that I've already went over with you all. So these are just a few things, the background information of Hoagie's Gifted Education page.